We are excited when we hear about initiatives from private sector contributing towards mitigation and adaptation initiatives around climate change. So those initiatives are certainly very, very welcome. When we look at some of the initiatives that are in place currently, under the Department of Forestry in the ministry, there are some projects that are looking at sustainable management of forests. For example, in Eastern Province, in Muchinga, in Northwestern Province, there are about 30 communities that have formulated groups to start participating more in sustainable forestry management. What we're looking at is how do we empower the local communities to have better management of forest products, not just the timber, but also the non-timber products. There is honey to be harvested in those in those forests. There are also caterpillars depending on the season, and there's also chikanda, or is it a part of the orchid family? There's chikanda that can be derived from the forest.
So this is communities around the world who see that what they have in their community is something precious, and also their relationship with the land around them, the nature around them, the places of the ancestors. Many communities have sacred sites, sacred groves. So these are very special relationships, and communities' chiefs know that they want to keep this for the future generations. So communities start to consciously design their own sustainable future in the social, cultural, ecology, and economic dimensions of sustainability. So this, usually it starts by bringing back more knowledge around agriculture. How can communities be really self-sufficient in food production, abundant, but then also rainwater harvesting, water systems, the waste systems, renewable energy, but also looking at the social structures. How can there be inclusivity in the community? How can the voices be heard, and at the same time clear and good leadership? How can the youth be retained in the village? So then we already start going to economy. What are the social entrepreneurship possibilities for a village? And how can it all be rooted deeply in own cultures so that people don't start grasping for an American way of life, but really stay rooted in their own culture and what is good in their own cultures?
So eco-villages really help governments meet many of the SDGs because we're taking a multifaceted approach to the work that we do. We're covering women's empowerment and gender issues, looking at SDG 5, for example. We are trying to harvest water and look at different methods of sanitation, looking at the SDG on water and sanitation. And of course, alternative methods of agriculture, climate adaptation and mitigation, so addressing climate action SDG.
So when I go back to my my hometown in Mansa, everybody's asking me, what can I do? And I said, this river, when I was 10 years old, used to run. It was a full-flowing river. Today it trickles, and that is a problem. And what is the problem? Upstream of the Mansa River, huge amounts of deforestation. People do not see that this is interconnected. And of course our ancestors knew that, which is why Umushitu had to be reserved, because it provided the water for the community. But now, there's so many factors that are coming into play, sometimes an absence of information, or critical understanding of what the implications are, or the long term, because sometimes you just want to solve a problem now. I need to go and sell that charcoal so I can buy a school uniform for my child, but we also have to figure out what are the alternatives, what are the options, and that's where the government also comes in.